it's not even enough.
Yes, that time is not enough to really, get to know, what you are capable of in terms of writing or calculating or whatever. But of course, for that time frame being given 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, we are going to have a brief test of that knowledge to be able to certify something that, this particular person can do XYZ, has a level of knowledge in this area. That's why in some developed clients, they don't even look at the grades that we are so much in tune with celebrating in Nigeria. They look at the fact that this person, throughout his years of academic session, have not failed any course. The person is, progressing gradually and making all of the results in such a way that you understand that this person is knowledgeable. You get? So at the end of the day, it is the sum up of what you are able to bring out as an academician, as a student, as a graduate, that determine or define your knowledge, not the paper that has been certified for 2 hours exam or 3 hours exam. So when we focus too much on that period of an exam, we throw away the bulk of the beautiful things and the in-depth knowledge that every individual as citizens possess, every student possess, which is their individuality, their gifts, and all that comes with them. It's a total sum up, that make up, that intelligent human being.
Okay, so the part I said I didn't want to go, I think we'll have to go there. When you started talking, you mentioned transiting from analog, right, to digital.
Yes.
When it comes to workplace and all that. Why are we scared of transiting?
Yes, a lot of the players, a lot of those are the aims of affairs. They are scared.
Is it because of transparency, or a lot of corrupt practices will be abolished? Why are we scared of transiting?
Depending on the sector.
Okay.
There are various reasons adduced to why digitization is not, driving fast, or it's not being welcomed.
Yeah.
In some clime, it is because it is too costly. For example, if you want to install in a small company, for example, in my area in accounting, if you want to install accounting software such that you don't need to be ruling your book and recording, everything is already ruled in the spreadsheet or in the software, so you just input your data and the software do all of the analysis and calculation for you so that you can now interpret. Because naturally the job of an accountant is to analyze data and interpret, not the record keeping. The record keeping comes from the angle of bookkeepers. Okay. But because there's no room for employing all of these hands, an accountant does all the job, all together. But when you bring a digitized system, it simplifies all of this job that will take maybe 5-10 people to have, get done with just one software. So it reduces cost in terms of manpower, hiring more hands. But the cost of, installation is another reason why people are saying, can I just pull out 1 million naira to install this? I don't think it's necessary, But don't forget, if you are employing 5 hands to do that same job, you are still going to spend more than the 1 million naira in bits, and you arrive there. It's not like somebody installing AC. The cost of installing AC is too much. I'll spend 10 million naira, 5 million naira to install AC. Because when you look at what you are paying for the national grid, you say, a month, 10,000, 20,000, it's not much. Now I think I would better do with that. But you forget that the power is not constant. Yeah. And you will continue to pay that amount to a point where you still exhaust the 4 million. Yeah. But taking out the 4 million at once to install is a difficult thing for you. So in some clime, it is the cost of, purchase and installation. In other clime, it is the, fear that if we install this thing, can we cope? Can we manage it? Because a lot of them that are in the system, they are already old. I'm talking about the personnel, the top guys. They don't want anything that will destabilize their work. They look at you and say, if we install this thing now, all of this work that we are doing, everything will be scattered. It will look as if we are starting afresh, and we have to go through training again before we start applying the works that we've been doing for several years on the digital space. So many of them are scared from the point of view of not having the necessary knowledge to apply digitization, so they don't want to go there. Now we also have the cost implication from manpower aspect. Some people believe that the cost of paying an employee to do all of these jobs all at once is even better than installing software. Then you mentioned transparency. Yes, a lot of persons or a lot of captain of industries want transparency, but the people they put in charge, some of the managers, some of the top guys, the lead, They don't want that because they know once digitization comes in, you know, all of these things will be open. The boss can sit in London and view what is happening in his firm via a digitized system, and that is the discouragement on their part. But for other areas too, where you render services with a digitized system, you also want to know whether your customers are in tune. They have knowledge of that digital space to apply them. So if you want to go CBT, for example, in WAEC, you want to know whether the students who are taking WAEC, they've undergone computer training in their various schools. If they have not done that, particularly schools in the rural areas where we don't have a computer, it means that you are going to set an exam where the candidate or the customers who are coming to take the exam cannot even use the computer. So it's a discouragement. So in that light, yes, in that light, the government want to do more in procuring enough computer, or installing computer centers, you know, for various secondary schools, so that every student that pass out from a secondary school is already well grounded. It's not like in our time. In our time, when we finish secondary school, we will go and register again afresh for 12 months training or 6 months training, depending, for computer training. When you ought to have learnt that at the secondary school level before graduating. We even have coppers who finish university before they started, you know, applying for computer class, and those who were taking them in those computer classes, they were
they've not gone to
school leavers, or some of them are SSE holders. Meanwhile, you've got through the 4 years of the university, there was no access to computer. So these are the discouragements. So investment also need to come from the part of government, you know, to drive digitization in terms of knowledge, such that it penetrates into every nook and cranny of the country. Everybody is now carried along. For example, when we talk about inclusive banking, if not for the USSD code, a digital system of banking will not work in the rural areas, because first of all, they even lack internet. Then even where they have internet, these people in the rural areas don't have the knowledge of using smartphones. You get it? So in driving that digitization, you need a lot of sensitization. You need a lot of, you know, learning on the part of the users, the people who are going to make use of this digitized process, to be aware on how to use them, so that you can really drive it down.
I think they should start including computer into the basics now, not just
it is even in the private school. It is part of their even nursery school up to primary school and all that. But the difficulty is, it's not enough to have it in textbooks and you show them this is a monitor. And yet they don't have a computer that they are interfacing with. They are supposed to be having a computer that they are interfacing with daily from that tender age.
You see what they are
before they even finish primary school, they are already very good with computer. Secondary school should be like now going advanced into programming. Not now coming to learn the what do they call it then?
Microsoft
computer appreciation. You know, you must
have been a very good student. I can't.
You are just going to learn, you know, the parts of computer, how to use Microsoft Word. You know, yes, because you have not even gone in depth. This is just like the surface. Yes, scratching the surface. Meanwhile, you are the level where you are a university graduate. That is not supposed to be the case. So it should be practical, such that these words of ours, these kids of ours, these students of ours are already well trained from foundation, such that when they get to this SSE level of taking WAEC or NECO, they already know how to use the computer.
But parents are doing well these days. Like some of them, they just think it's to get their kids tablets and all that. But these are things that on their own part they could actually use to teach these kids how to use a computer, not just get a tab, go to YouTube and allow them watch cartoons and all that. These are ways that they can also,
if they are deliberate.
Yes, if they are. Thank you very much. On that note, I think we'll end headlines from the daily. Parents, you have to be very deliberate about your kids. Really, we don't have to keep depending on the system. We have our own part to play. Like Bright has said, we have to be deliberate about this parenting thing. Don't just leave everything for the school and the government. All right, thank you so much, Bright, for being here. And this is what we call it a wrap on news headlines from the dailies this morning. Stay with us. Much more programs coming your way. Good morning.